Welcome to 52 at 52. I'm Matt McDowell, and welcome to my YouTube channel where I count down 52 jobs that I've had in 52 years on the planet. Today's job is job number 20, substitute teacher. Junior high substitute teacher. Now, let me paint a little picture. Let me set the stage for you here. I got fired from that AVS job, C job number, it'll say at the bottom there because I can't think of what it is right now. I got fired from my job. I got kicked out of my apartment, and I just broke up with my girlfriend. Excellent. Things are going just as planned if you're like a country western song. So I'm thinking, well, what am I going to do? My friend, Daryl, he's like, well, he was going to be engaged. Let me just back up here a little bit. Fired, no job, no place to live. I got kicked out of my apartment because they were turning them into condos. So they had to pay a bunch of money, and they kicked me out of my apartment. And then I broke up with my girlfriend. So I am college graduate. Am I footloose and fancy free, or am I on the skids? Who knows? So at this point, I have no plan. My friend Daryl says, hey, I know I was supposed to be getting married in 2 weeks and going on my honeymoon to Paris, but I'm not. I've got these unrefundable tickets. Do you want to go? So I'm like, sure, let's go to Paris. Now, I did not substitute teach in Paris. The irony was not lost on me that my ex-girlfriend's name was, in fact, Paris, and I'm going to Paris. Kind of a joke. I went to Paris mostly as a big joke for the ironic nature of it. So two sad guys in Paris. His fiance dumped him, and I didn't know what I was doing. So I come back from Paris, which was great, by the way, which was fantastic. I love Paris. And what am I going to do now? Well, I have a sister who lives in Utah, Paris, Utah. About the same kind of thing. So I go and stay with my sister, Christy. Christy, now, she did this for a lot of people who were like in transitions, like, we don't know what we're going to do. And she's like, come stay with me. She had a big house there right at the base of the Wasatch Mountains there in Sandy, Utah, and just get yourself together. So that's what was my plan. My plan was I was going to go to Salt Lake, and I was going to ski all winter and then try to figure out what I was going to do. So I'm skiing there, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. College graduate, have my degree, nothing's going on. I'm working on a film, but that's not going anywhere at that present moment. And so my sister says, well, they have substitute teachers. They're always looking for substitute teachers. Why don't you substitute teach? I'm like, all right, what could possibly go wrong? So I go down to the district office, and I fill out the application. This is that I will be a substitute teacher, and I fill it all out with all the instructors. And so I hand it in, and they go, okay, thank you for the application. We're going to need two things from you. We need a copy of your diploma so we can prove that you actually are a college graduate. And we also need a criminal records check because we can't have just anybody in the classroom. And I'm thinking, okay, great. Guess what? I have no idea where my diploma is because I've been packing. I've been living out of my car, basically. I have no idea where any of my stuff is. And there's no way I'm going down to some police station and getting a criminal records check. So thank you very much. I will not be a substitute teacher. I didn't say that, but that's what I'm thinking in my head. So it was with some surprise that a week later, I found myself in a classroom teaching junior high. Forget the diploma, the criminal records check, nothing. It was just me filling out a piece of paper, handing it in. They give me a call, can you come teach? And 20 minutes from, they call me, and like an hour later, I'm in the classroom. And I walk into this classroom, and the teacher's still there, and he's at the podium, and he's obviously not doing well, and he just kind of goes, here's the lesson plan, we're grading a test, and walks out the door. And so they're grading a test, so I just take over, and we're grading this test, and I'm reading off the answers. Can't even remember what class it was. Maybe it was a science class. Maybe it was a history class. I have no idea. So when we finish up the test and everyone's settled down, I introduce myself. And the first question I get is, how long have you been a substitute teacher? Perfect. I look at my watch and I say, about 20 minutes. And they think I'm joking, but I'm not. Perfect. And the actual work in my memory is kind of dreamlike because I'm skiing a lot. I'm getting these, you would get a call. They would call you in the morning like, hey, can you come today? And you're like, nah, I'm skiing. Or you'd say, yeah, I'm going in. And I just have vague memories of attending a Martin Luther King rally, like a pep rally kind of thing. Not a pep rally, commemoration of Martin Luther King. So we watched, the I Am a Dream speech in Utah there. And then I substituted a shop class, but because nobody could use any tools, so we just did worksheets. And I was kind of amazed that, one, that these particular kids couldn't figure out a ruler beyond inch and half inch. All those other little things were just like, I don't know what those are. We got inch, half inch. They were good with that. We did a worksheet on that. Also, one kid couldn't read very well, and we're supposed to read stuff around the table, and you could tell, I was like, oh, this guy can't read very well. And so what did he do? Like, he threw his desk over and made a big fuss, rather than having to be embarrassed, not having to read. And that kind of made me feel sad. I remember having substitute teachers, and you would give them a hard time. But I remembered a piece of advice that my dad gave me. It wasn't advice, it was just a story. I was in 8th grade, and they had a new teacher who came into Sycamore School there, and people were just running roughshod over this guy, this poor new teacher. People were just going crazy in his class, and he had no control over his class at all. And so, like, after a week or two, I wasn't in his class, I just saw this from afar. And so I asked my dad, I go, what's up with this guy? I mean, how did you, because my dad was known as a stern disciplinarian. And he goes, well, what I did, how did you maintain order in your classroom? He goes, well, it was really easy. He goes, the first 2 weeks that I taught, those first 2 weeks, I was super, super mean. I was very, very strict, and I didn't put up with anything. And that reputation has served me for 30 years. So it would get passed down, don't mess with Mr. McDowell. And it was 2 weeks of painfulness, and then 30 years of just order and bliss. So that's what I did when I was a substitute teacher. Those first 20 minutes, you would find out who the smart aleck was. And it's like, you know what, dude, don't mess with me because I can outsmart aleck you because I was the class clown. Actually, documented class clown right here. And I can take you down, and you would revert to the meanest stuff. I felt like I was one of those, teacher from the We Don't Need No Education, Pink Floyd songs. Just like, you're like, oh man, I can't believe I'm going here with this kid to keep him in line. But it would work. And you're only there for a day, and it brought out a kind of an ugly side of me. Not the best side, but, it worked. And like my dad, I would have the rest of the day was easy because then the class is coming in, the word would get out, and like, oh, don't mess with the new substitute teacher because he's kind of a, hard ass. And I have a talent for teaching, and I have an inclination for teaching, and I like telling stories. And I probably should have been a teacher. I have there's a long history of teaching in my family. Maybe not long, but broad. Both my parents were teachers. My sisters are teachers. My brother likes to teach. So I have that in me. But there was one day when I was sitting at in a substitute class, and I was looking out the window. I had the class settled down. They were working on something. And I had this totally anxious feeling, like I had when I was in school, like I was missing something. And it's like, you know what, this is not going to be right for me because I feel like I need to be out there, wherever there is. Which brings me to my thought about rivers, because I love rivers. But the other day I was looking at I was looking at a river and comparing it to a lake and the differences, and how great it is to live on a lake, but I really would like to live on a river. And I was thinking, would I like to live on a river? Because everything goes by on the river. And I like to be on the river going by. And I think when I was in a school setting, I felt like I was on the shore watching everyone go by. And I wanted to be in that river with all those people. Because I love being a student. I love learning. I love that. And I love going to school. But maybe I felt like I was a little bit stationary. There's something to be said about that. Anyway, seeing open roads, you want to be on that road. You don't want to be sitting around. So to sum up, that was my job number 20, substitute teacher in Sandy, Utah. It wasn't quite in Sandy. It was other places around there. It was one of those things you just kind of do and you can't even remember. It was like a different person did it. How you look back on your life as you get older, you're like, was that really me? Or did I just dream that? It was kind of like that. Substitute teacher. Job number 20. Thanks for watching. I appreciate everyone's comments, and subscription rates are just through the roof. Fantastic. I'm Matt McDowell, signing off for 52 at 52. Thanks for watching again, and we'll see you next time. I also had a goatee, and I wouldn't call myself Mr. McDowell. I'd call myself Mr. Matt. What a goofball. Mr. Matt. And the cooler kids in the class, they could see immediately that was not cool. And they were like, what? You're an idiot. I'm like, yeah, but shut up. You shut up. You shut up. You shut up. Don't make me come over there.